folks, greetings from the allotment. I'm very pleased that you've all stuck with me, and we're getting a lot of new subscribers. So I'm quite surprised really, because the content hasn't been great this time of the year. I mean, it can't be great for anyone really, so everything's stopping growing, but there's always things to get on with all the year round. I do tend to have a break normally around this time, right through to January the 1st. Probably won't be happening this year because I'm behind. The place is still looking a bit of a pigsty, so I've got to get things a bit more organised, so I'm going to have to spend a bit more time. Today I'm not going to do anything. I just want a break. I've just come up to have a tea break up here, do a little bit of filming, obviously feed the hens and collect the eggs and what have you. But anyway, it's great that we're getting new subscribers and that you're watching. I can't say how things are going to be over the coming months. But all I can tell you is that we've got plans, Nigel and I, for the channel. So the plans are there. It's just whether circumstances allow it all to happen. But I'll be doing it. I'll be having a good damn job at doing it. So we've got the community gardens, what we're working on. We've got a meeting at the end of October. That's next week. Next Thursday, so that hopefully we'll have a better idea whether we've got the paperwork signed over for the piece of land, and we know exactly where we stand. If we don't, and it still carries on, the saga carries on, we have got a possible another plot. But we haven't taken it up or discussed it, so that's something what we've got to. That's something we could fall upon if need be. But hopefully everything's go well and we'll get this signed up. Now, if that does get signed over and we've got a 10-year lease or whatever, we still may take up the offer of the other place where we've been offered it. I'm not going to say any more, except it would be very exciting and it would bring in a lot of content to the channel. A lot of content. Right, what else can we say? I was up yesterday and I've done a bit more. I mean, it looks a mess, so I'm going to show you in a minute, because I believe in showing you the good and bad. You've seen what my allotment looks like when it's good, and now you're seeing what it looks like on the recovery from bad. I've learnt a lot. I thought my plot was, how can I say, user-friendly for a caring role. I've discovered that there is a few issues what I've got to tweak on for next year. I know I've learnt a lot this year from going from a caring role to a very active caring role, where my mother is now unable to walk. So there's a lot I've got to work around this. So there's been a lot of problems with carers and times, and it's kind of really sugared me up with my schedule. We used to always have a schedule worked out for the day, and I'd be up here, for 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon every day. Now I can't rely on that sort of thing happening now, and in fact sometimes I'm up in the morning. So but I'm gradually getting used to it, and we're having hopefully next month things will be better and we can rely on the carers, but we'll have to see on that. They've let me down a few times. Right, so So I've discussed the Carers Network. We've got this website what Nigel and I have been working on, and basically that's all. We've discussed this earlier, but that's growing. I'm spending quite a bit of time each day putting the content on, and if you think about it, I've got a lot of videos. I don't know whether I've got 900 or something what are published. There's about 1300 or something on my channel. They're not all published. So I'm working through last year's at the minute. So I think I've gone through from January to July, and then under the months of the year, obviously I've got a few years others to go back on, so it's going to take a lot of time. I've put other content into categories, you know, like poultry and grown with Julie, grown with Nigel, home brewing. So you know, it's going to be quite an undertaking, and hopefully it'll all the content from all the different projects what we're involved in will go up on there. So it's really exciting. Quite. Yeah, I would say. What can I say? Just I'm excited about it. You know, this year it's been a bit of it started out. I had a first half of the year was brilliant. Second half's not been well. The third quarter, I should say, was very bad for me. This quarter's recovering. I suppose it's this quarter. No, October, November, December. I suppose. Well, it's been a bit. You'll see by once I've got the videos up for this year that I've already noticed that July was the poorest month for videos, and it should have been one of the best, to be honest. But never mind. Lots of things have grown in my plot this year, so it looks as though next year is going to be a good year. If everything, if the conditions are right for the soft fruit, that is. I want to thank those of you who've donated to my both to my channel and to my Carers Network. The first purchase has been made. I've invested in a petrol strimmer brush cutter. With all the earmuffs and what have you, and all the bits and bobs. Still in the box. I've had it a week, so I've not opened it yet. Probably not a need to open it this year, but it's ready for next year. And there's other things what I'm hoping to get given time. I've got to say, they say that you know, money doesn't bring joy, but to be honest with you, you need a certain amount of it to participate in some of your hobbies. It's not cheap the way I garden. I've got fences here that are now been up for 5 years. Is it 5? I'm not sure. Yeah, got to be 5 years. And the posts are all starting to rot away now, so the fencing all needs looking at. It's not a cheap thing. I was going to get on with wiring up the raspberry canes here, but again the posts have rotten, so when I was tying up when I was getting the tension right, the post just snapped. So it's things like that I can't do at the moment. It's a matter of trying to pay for all these things, and as you know, I can't. I'm relying on. To be honest with you, I'm living off my carer's wage and my the little income that comes through from my YouTube channel to pay for bits and bobs. And obviously I rely on, and then I got a little bit of help from my parents, you know, because I grow lots of fruit and veg for them, so they help out. Yeah, so. It would be looking a lot better, you know, if money was no object, but never mind. I'll do the best I can, and and hopefully one day I might be famous and I might be earning a bit more money. We can only dream, can't we? You never know though. Right, what else going to say? Yeah, I think what we'll do, we'll just show you what I've been up to yesterday, and you can see that you'll be able to see that I've started to work on things, and I'll just tell you a bit about what I'm doing and how to make things easier if the winter's not as good as we're hoping, you know, on the parent side, and I need to do a lot more caring, then I've got to make sure that the plot is ready for the spring with the least weeds growing. So let's get on and I'll show you around. Okay folks, well, if you remember, these were the perennial beds. Now it's not worked out this year because of my situation. You can see where the problems lie. We've got the no man's land on this side here, and it has gone into my beds, the bindweed. If you're not in the UK and you don't know what bindweed is, it is a pain for the gardener. The roots go right into the ground, and the slightest little bit will grow back, and it chokes everything. And if you remember, I don't know, I think I showed you this bit, it was as high as the fence with weeds and flowers, and basically I've taken them all up. I need to go through these all now, weed them very finely. I need to get all those bits of bindweed and everything out, but that'll be a job for another day. Once I've done that, the beds are going to be covered with weed fabric. This is stapled into these raised beds, and I'm going to do the same for those. And this is just going to stop the weeds, the seeds and what have you, from growing during the winter. But at least that's the plan. I've got another bed just over here what I need to look at. That needs to be covered, but I need to go through it first. We've got some rhubarb ones here. The rhubarb, when it's like this, you just, the best thing is just to let it die back, and all the goodness will go back into the soil. But that bed's got twitch, that's couch grass, that needs all sorting out. The one down here, interestingly enough, is a livingstone. Now, because of the amount of weeds and that, this didn't get much light, and can you see how it's not as big as, I'll show you. If we go over here, this is the sunnier patch, what was over here. Same, it was put in at the same time, same little plants of 3-inch plants back in May, I think it was, or June. And this apparently is meant to give fruit for 10 months of the year. What I think I need to do is take some of those stems off to encourage the new growth, and then obviously we're going to be able to eat that for quite some time. Having never grown it before, I'm not sure what to expect. I assume by the way it is that maybe it doesn't die back like normal rhubarb, but as I say, I don't know, so that's going to be interesting. I'm trying not to repeat stuff what I've shown you before, but you might as well just have a little peep. You can see those beds have been covered. There is a border down here what needs weeding, and there's been some more growth on the loganberries, so that needs tying back into the fence. That one's okay. We've got some late dahlias coming through here. I've still got 1 or 2 flowers. You know, these are the bishop's children here. They are beautiful. And cosmos. Gooseberries are down there. So the other thing I did yesterday was started on the strawberry plants in here. Now I've weeded them and I've cut back all the runners, well most of the runners. You can see I've left a few, they've grown in underneath the side. Each of these had 12 plants originally in. You can see that it's considerably more in. What I've decided to do is to leave those in for the time being. They are then going to be split up in the spring. When I say spring, I probably mean March time. And now I will move some of those on, hopefully to the new project, community project. I could pot them up now, but I don't think it's really the right time of year to do that. They might as well get established in this soil, and then they'll have good roots on for next year. So that's what I've basically done with this 1, 2, 3 beds here, and this one here I've gone through to some extent. I haven't done this bed yet. This, in case you don't know what it is curly kale. I grew it for my mother. She likes to eat it. It's a German delicacy in North Germany. Unfortunately, she knows how to cook it, and I don't know how she does it, and you know, she's getting a bit confused now, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. Hopefully on a good day I can get some instructions and get it recorded and what have you, and then I'll know. What I can say is my mum never eats it before the frost has caught it. So you hear all these stories about people eating it throughout the summer. The German way is you never touch it until it's had frost on. North Germany, that is. It's totally different between north and south. They have a different way of cooking and a different way of doing a lot of things. Just like we do in England here, you know, from south and north, and those of us in the centre. These were the runners what went in, I can't remember when it was. A few weeks ago, wasn't it? It wasn't that long ago. And looking at them, they've all flourished. They're all surviving. In fact, 1 or 2 sent out runners, and they actually rooted. So you can see that there's no, there is 12 plants in there. I think there's maybe more than 12 in here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I remember now. I put a couple in there just because when I was weeding, they came out, so I didn't want to waste them. This bed, I don't think I've gone through recently. I need to have another look at that. Oh, one thing to be aware of, folks, with your strawberry plants, when you've got leaves sort of turning brown or orangey colour, it's always best to take them off. And I do this throughout the year. And the strawberries, if they're established plants, I'll normally cut them right back to about 3 inches. I'll get all the branches off, because those leaves and that are not going to be providing any fruit for next year. The fruit comes off the new growth. And obviously, if you've got your plants cut back, then the goodness is the growth is going to go into the roots rather than into any leaves. So that's what you need to be aware of. At least that's my experience anyway. So some of these here will be cut further back. But I do like to experiment. Now, you're going to see that my path has been treated. I know some of you are going to hate me for that, but I'm afraid it's something what needed to be done. I've had to do that because it was getting like a jungle, and because I'd laid bark and everything on it, it was potentially a problem with flicking up if I was trimming in that, because it could easily puncture the polytunnels. So I've had to treat the path, and I've done that all the way down, and I'm going to have to recover in the at some point with fresh bark. Right then, I think that's today's update done. Many thanks. Oh, tell you what, let's just show you the hens. The hens are I always let them have a run round while I'm doing something on the plot, so they have the freedom to roam around in the sit down area. And what we can see, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know where the 8th one is. Might be in the might be laying an egg. So they always get to come out and roam on here for an hour or two a day. Right, that's it then folks. Thanks for watching.